Hi guys, recently I made this gorgeous authentic pad thai recipe and it was so delicious, but the best thing about it was once the prep work was done, all the peeling and chopping and everything, you can set everything aside for a good long while until you're ready to eat, and then you can fry it up in just a few minutes. There is quite a lot of prep though, but don't worry, I'm going to take you through it. Start off with a whole bulb of garlic. This is quite a small bulb, but if you're a stickler for weights, this weighed 28 grams. Now go ahead and separate it into its respective cloves and peel each clove. When that's done, just set them aside and don't chop them yet. First, you're going to take a piece of ginger that weighed about the same as the garlic bulb. Peel that as well and set it aside with the garlic. Next, take one fresh chilli, cut the top off and remove the seeds. Now coarsely chop the chilli, followed by the ginger and then the garlic. Now run your knife back and forth over the coarsely chopped ingredients until they're really finely chopped. You could use a mini food processor for this if you want, or a pestle and mortar, but a few minutes doing this and it'll be fine. Now add them to a bowl. These will all be added to the pan at the same time, as will about a half a teaspoon of chili flakes, so go ahead and add that to the bowl as well. Now take a second bowl and crack 4 large eggs into it. Now go ahead and beat them up with a fork and set aside until later. Now to make the sauce for the pad thai, take a large jug, and to that we're going to add 4 tablespoons of tamarind water. I'm using concentrate, but you could use the pulp as well. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the concentrate. And I'm going to dilute that with about 2 tablespoons of boiling water. While the water's still hot, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this palm sugar. This is really fudgy and unrefined, but if you can't find it, I reckon just light brown sugar would be fine. Now give it a good stir to help it dissolve in the hot tamarind water. Now for more sweetness, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of sweet chili sauce. This doesn't pack much heat at all, and actually the dish in itself is quite mild, so if you want something a bit fierier, add more fresh chilies. Now for some real salty tang, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of this fish sauce. Obviously I'm eyeballing everything here, it doesn't really matter. Now mix all that up again and set it aside until later. Now take a handful of spring onions, I think I have 7 here, and remove the roots and any kind of rough dark green leaves. Cut them all in half and then take each half and cut them into strips lengthwise. When you're done, add them to another bowl. And to that bowl with the spring onions, you're also going to add about 100 grams of bean sprouts. Fresh would be good, but I'm using these out of a can, it's no big deal. You're also going to need 100 grams of raw, unsalted peanuts. I could only find raw ones with the skin on, and I couldn't be bothered taking the skin off. If you want to take the skin off, you can, it would probably be nicer, but anyway, once you have 100 grams of them, place a dry frying pan over a high heat and add your peanuts, allowing them to toast for a few minutes until they start to colour and become really aromatic. Then remove them from the heat and tip them back onto your chopping board. Now run over them with your knife again, going back and forth until they're all nice and kind of coarsely chopped. And once they've cooled down, add them to the bowl with the spring onions and the bean sprouts, because they'll all be added at the same time. Now take a small bunch of fresh coriander or cilantro, depending on what you call it. Remove the woodier stalks and just discard them. And chop up the remaining leaves. This really doesn't have to be finely chopped at all, coarse is perfect. Now I should be adding this to the bowl with the nuts, sprouts and spring onions because they're supposed to go into the pot at the same time, but I'm cooking for one person who hates coriander, so I'm just going to serve it in a bowl to the side so people can sprinkle over as a garnish at the end. And to that bowl as well, I'm going to just add a few lime wedges. I've got 2 limes here, I'm just going to chop them up so people can spritz over their own bowls. Now here I have 350 grams of raw prawns that have been peeled and deveined as well. You want to be careful to remove the vein because that's the gastrointestinal tract and it can contain some prawn poo. Then towards the end I'll add 2 tablespoons of these dried shrimp for a little bit of extra prawn flavour. These are kind of hard to come by, so either online or Asian supermarkets. So now, whenever you want to start cooking, you'll need a large pot of boiling water for the noodles and a large wok to stir fry everything else. Of course, a large frying pan would do here too. So first off, add about 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil to the wok, although I'm actually using coconut oil. So heat that over a high heat and then add your garlic, chili and ginger. Then straight away add the raw prawns and stir fry for about 2 minutes. While they're frying, add your rice noodles to the boiling water. I'm using 5mm thick rice noodles here, and they just need a few minutes to cook. Once the prawns have had their 2 minutes, they should have gone a lovely coral colour like this. So now pour over that beaten egg and stir fry for just another minute until the egg starts to scramble. Then turn the heat down to low and go ahead and strain and add your rice noodles, followed by the sauce you made earlier from the tamarind water, fish sauce and sweet chili. At this point, I'd give everything a really good mix. I find a pair of tongs best for this, so you can grab a clump of the rice noodles and lift them and let them drop from a height. That'll really ensure that they're all coated in the sauce and that the prawns and egg are nicely distributed throughout them. Next, add 2 tablespoons of those dried shrimp. Don't worry about this if you can't find them, it doesn't really matter. Next, add the bowl with the peanuts, spring onions and bean sprouts, and coriander as well if you're adding it at this point. Now toss everything together for just a minute or so, just until everything is warmed through, and then just serve up. I like to serve it at the table along with a bowl of lime wedges and the coriander as well. You see now that this takes absolutely no cooking time. As long as you have your prep done before your friends arrive, you will look like a serious badass in the kitchen. So that's it. Thanks a million for watching, guys. I really hope you liked this recipe and will give it a go yourselves at home. I really think you should. It's so tasty and authentic. If you do give it a go, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know on social media how you got on if you try this. You'll find all the links to my social media accounts in the description below, as well as the link to my blog where you'll find the full recipe at www.brookiecook.org.